the belief system isn't, it's not to take anything away from Marcus Garvey. But this is why he had the problems that he had, and his movement is now, in control of traders, sometimes in control of sellouts. You have people using the name that shouldn't be using the name, that aren't really on the principles of Marcus Garvey. You have people who are, like saying that they want to celebrate him and all this stuff, and they don't want to make any other connection to Garvey other than just what he said and what he stood for. When he would have had that some type of inspiration. He wouldn't have just had this, got this information and just, oh yeah, well, I'm just going to start this organization, and then it's going to be called the UNIA, and then I'm just going to, like, assist my people. Like, he had to be divinely prepared for that type of work. But that's just not him just doing something. Like, let me just read this book or whatever right here and go through the pages. He was actually sent, like how we're connected to the universe is that there's something called ether. And ether is basically just energy that exists, right? That ether is connected to us by an etheric cord from the universe. So all of us are connected to the universe through our crown chakra to the universe, right? That's why when you're at the crown of your hair spirals out of your head. And then in the universe, the spiraling of galaxies and all that stuff. And then that's how they tell you don't perm your hair or cut your hair or whatever, because your hair are the antennas that connect you to that divine power. So once you connect yourself to the divine power, you allow now information to be sent from the universe to you, especially if you're female. Because if you're female, the whole idea of you being connected to that universe through that etheric cord is for you to bring thoughts of the universe onto the planet through your womb. And then if you're directly connected, then you would have only Marcus Garvey's coming out of your womb, or only Noble Drew Ali's coming out of your womb, or only Haile Selassie has come out of your womb. Opposed to nigger one time, and bastard child another time, and just a little runt on the other time, and you know what I mean? Like, you would actually be bringing the gods and goddesses that are supposed to be fixing up this mess. Like, they'll have everything, they'll have all this in them. Like, they wouldn't have to read none of this, they wouldn't have to do nothing. All they would do is come out the room and be ready to go. Like, yeah, okay, let's do this. Right? Who taught Marcus Garvey? There was a brother by the name of Deuce Muhammad Ali. Now, Deuce Muhammad Ali was a Moor. And hardly ever do you hear about Deuce Muhammad Ali. So Deuce Muhammad Ali was a Moorish national, born in 1866. He was also an actor, historian, journalist, editor, lecturer, traveler, publisher, and as political, cultural, and his journals advocating Pan-African Asian nationalism was a forum for African intellectuals and activists from around the world. It drew the attention of a wide variety of contributors. Besides Ali's strong nationalist and Pan-African views, he was an active follower of Islam, having in 1926 established the Universal Islamic Society in Detroit, Michigan. Deuce Ali had a thorough understanding of Moorish history because in 1902 he produced Othello and The Merchant of Venice at Hull, Yorkshire, playing the part of Othello and the Prince of Morocco. To validate this, Yorkshire has a strong symbolic meaning because of the Yorkshire Moors. However, the European has changed history to state that the Yorkshire Moors in a national park and marsh area. It is said that this organization was the precursor to Noble Drew Ali's Moor Science Temple. So, Deuce Muhammad Ali was a teacher of Pan-Africanism, but he was also a follower of Islam. So now you have this person who's an Islamic person, by the way. You have this person who's an Islamic person, and with him being connected to Islam, he's also connected to Marcus Garvey. But they're not going to tell you ever about Marcus Garvey and his connection to Islam through Deuce Muhammad Ali. Because when you know that, you would realize that Deuce Muhammad Ali was the precursor to the Moorish Science Temple of America. So this right here is a picture of Deuce Muhammad Ali that we couldn't get online or find in any books anywhere. This was a picture that was given to me by this Moorish brother. Deuce Muhammad Ali had a paper called the African Times and Orient Review. The Islamic influence can be seen in Marcus Garvey's model, One God, One Aim, One Destiny, which originated with Deuce Ali's Universal Islamic Society. In the UNIA, One God, One Aim, One Destiny was preceded by May Our Rights Proclaim in the Most Sacred Name Allah. So they're going to tell you about Deuce Muhammad Ali, and they're going to tell you about the UNIA, and they're going to tell you about Garvey, and how Garvey had a slogan called One God, One Aim, One Destiny. But they're not going to tell you about the line that came before One God, One Aim, One Destiny, which was May Our Rights Proclaim in the Most Sacred Name Allah. One God, One Aim, One Destiny. So in the UNIA, they dealt with Islam in the UNIA. Ali's social and academic commitments were vibratory, being seen in not only our Messiah Garvey and his vision, but in those whom the Messiah was adept to, such as Noble Drew Ali and Elijah Muhammad. Now, the African Times of Orient Review had writers, and among the writers of the African Times of Orient Review were George Bernard Shaw, H.G. Wells, Lord Lytton, Annie Besant, she's like a occultist. You know, she's like a high occultist, female occultist, right? Sir Harry H. Johnson, William H. Farris, and Marcus Garvey. It circulated in Egypt, West Africa, England, Japan, British Guiana, the United States, Australia, Canada, India. This is supposed to be Ceylon, S-E-Y-L-O-N, which is the name of Sri Lanka. Hindustan, which is the name of India. Jamaica and Nigeria. And then also, you can see down here, with Elijah Muhammad wearing the fez. Showing that Elijah Muhammad was also part of the Moorish Science Temple. But it's information that they do not tell the people, because if people realize that there is a connection and all this stuff, then they would unite. And if we had the Nation of Islam unite with the Moorish Science Temple of America, and then that unite with the UNIA, there's going to be a problem. And if we look at it from the perspective that the Nation of Islam is the faith, Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple of America is the fruition, and Marcus Garvey is the belief. So Deuce Muhammad Ali continued. Every major influential Asiatic that Deuce Muhammad came into contact with started a newspaper, which was his passion. He strongly believed in the circulation of newspapers to educate and inform the masses, as displayed the UNIA. As displayed, the UNIA had the Negro World, MST of A had the Moorish Guide, and the Nation of Islam had Muhammad Speaks, which all were used to build a financial foundation and to also market themselves to the public. The Moorish Guide was distributed in more than 15 states from 1926 to 1928. So we understand that Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught that in order to change a people, you have to change their literature. And how you change their literature is providing your own press for those people. And Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, and Rod Muhammad / along with Elijah Muhammad, all had newspapers in their organization that they created themselves, that they provided to the public, that they used as a financial foundation, so to build money, just like the Nation of Islam does today. Like when you go downtown, you see them actually there, you buy a paper, a $2 or whatever. It's the same thing. But that came from Yusuf Muhammad Ali. I don't think you saw this right here. This is the picture of it. Sorry about that. Right? Marcus Garvey was not just some man fighting for Pan-Africanism. He was actually a high scientist. He was actually a metaphysician. And when you take in a lot of his teachings, you would find little metaphysical statements within his teachings that would let us know that, okay, yeah, he actually had some type of connection to the universe. Because if 80% of his information dealt with a certain topic, but then 20% of it dealt with something that was a lot higher than what he normally talked about as far as the information and the concepts, right? We would understand that these are things that just happen to get in there because he was so connected to the higher power. So Marcus Garvey said, the civilization of today has gone drunk and crazy with its power, and by such it seeks through injustices, fraud, and lies to crush the unfortunate. But if I'm apparently crushed by the system of influence and misdirected power, my cause shall rise again to plague the conscience of the corrupt. For this I am satisfied, and for you I repeat, I am glad to suffer and even die. Again I say, cheer up, for better days are ahead. I shall write the history that will inspire the millions that are coming and lead the prosperity of our enemies to reckon with the host of the deeds of their fathers. Civilization today has gone drunk and crazy with its power. Talking about the fact that metaphysically, the power that they have is like alcohol. The power that they have, if you can take it, it could make you do crazy things. And it could make you use fraud and injustices and lies to destroy people who you think are less than you. And that is basically what these nations of earth are doing today to our people. They consider us the lowest of the low, and then they treat us like the lowest of the low. When it doesn't really have to be like that. And we can look at each other equally. I could be a doctor and look at another European person that's a doctor, and I could maybe have holistic teachings and be teaching people the natural way of things, and this other doctor could be cutting over people, but we could still talk or whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be something where, you know, there's friction between us, you know.